Thunder are scoring 5.4 more points per 100 possessions than the vaunted 2015-16 Warriors did during their all-time best 24-0 start to begin a season. And with one more win, they would match the 73-win Warriors' 25-game start, as, of course, Golden State lost game 4.
Wow.
Fourth quarter was Jimmy time. Gets the easy lay in there. Next possession down, Jimmy. From 3.
I mean, where's the defense on
that? Does not exist in the Windy City. Apparently.
Warriors win. Here's Steve Kerr on the Jonathan Kuminga situation.
Just got to keep going, just like everybody else who's in this position. And it happens to everybody, you know, pretty much, other than the stars. You know, guys come in and out of the rotation depending on, you know, who's available, how the team's playing.
I think we just switched on things. Yeah, that's all. As long as things are working out there and we're winning, I don't see the point of switching things, changing. So whenever my number get called, I'll be ready.
So it seems like Jonathan Kuminga is saying all the right things, but
yes, you're right.
How big a deal is this DMP?
Free JK. Free JK. You can see it in his eyes. He's trying to be professional. I mean, it's still several weeks away before he's eligible to be traded, and it's just started off so well. He averaged 15 points and 7 rebounds the first 12 games. Then he got hurt, and just like last season after he came back from injury, just doesn't mesh well with the Warriors. Obviously, it's going to be a couple weeks till he's eligible to be traded, but I know the Sacramento Kings are still interested. They threw Monk at it before in the first, but I don't think that first would be available anymore. But now Kuminga's at a number at $24 million where, you know, perhaps they could get a better player or they're going to have to get a bigger name player probably than before because of that number. So that will help the Warriors out.
Bobby, where is his trade value now as compared to over the summer?
Yeah, I mean, it's still mixed. There's a faction of teams that really like him just based on his athleticism and his upside and as far as filling a need from a front court big wing here. I think it's going to be interesting to monitor. He's eligible to be traded starting on January 15th. His contract rate is around $22.5 million. I think the big question for me is what happens if there's a deal not of the Warriors' liking, if they don't make a trade by the February 5th deadline and he's still on this roster past that. What is going to be the internal dynamics of it? He's saying the right things right now. 2 months from now, if he's still on this Golden State roster and his role is still the same here.
See, that's the thing. The role to me, like, you go through last night's box score, you obviously had no Curry, no Green, like, and you see Kuminga. So like, I hear you. To a point, you are a professional, but then you get to a place where you could professionally say, this is no longer a good fit on my end either, and we would all be looking and watching because there was a point last season when they were trying to stay afloat where you needed the productivity of Jonathan Kuminga, and he was able to step up.
You know, and it's interesting hearing Steve Kerr talk, and this is a Warrior roster that had been taken on water here with their injuries here, and you're putting out the players that you think are the best that can help you win games. But him talking about Jonathan Kuminga felt like it was Jonathan Kuminga's rookie season. I mean, this is a guy that's been on your roster already for 4 seasons.
But this is in Charlotte, where Jamal Murray dropped 34 and Nikola Jokic added 28 as the Nuggets won their 10th straight road game, setting a franchise record. Denver's always been known for the home court advantage, but Mark, how surprising is the road success?
Not surprising. I mean, this is a team that to me is the Thunder's biggest threat. Jamal Murray is on a tear. 30 points and 7 rebounds a game over the last 7. He's averaging a career-high 25 alongside Joker. And maybe we need to start talking about giving him his first All-Star appearance on this international team.
Maybe. We'll see if that happens. It should happen for him at some point. Next up, Darren Peterson made his return to the court Sunday for Kansas, the top NBA prospect part for sure. Congratulations, Sue Bird, on having your number 10 jersey retired at UConn, where she was part of 2 national championship teams. And UConn was 114-4 with Bird in the lineup.
That is crazy.
Gino Auriemma calls Bird the greatest point guard ever in women's college basketball. Monica, where does she fall on your list?
On my college list or my pro list? I mean,
Either one.
She's high. She's one of the greatest to do it ever. She's obviously a Hall of Famer. She won 4 WNBA titles. Of course, we're just looking at her slice of her basketball career in a Huskies uniform, but it extends way beyond that. And of course, now the work she's doing around women's sports media.
Yeah, shout out to Sue. All right, finally, Chris Paul was back in the gym, in the lab, working out, as he waits to find out what's next after the Clippers sent him home last week. Mark, you reported last week that Paul would be open to moving to another team, even in the East. But as the next steps in CP3's basketball future are TBD, let's get into the time machine and look back at the anniversary of the biggest could-have-been moment in Paul's career. Let's flash back to SportsCenter and a Lakers trade that almost happened.
On the day that the NBA is officially open for business and training camps will open everywhere, the league involved in a major controversy. The 3-team deal that would have sent the Hornets' Chris Paul to the Lakers rejected by the league, which currently has ownership over the Hornets franchise. This reportedly after David Stern heard from other angry owners about the proposed deal. Now, here's the way it would have gone down according to sources. Lakers would have received Chris Paul. The Rockets would have got Pau Gasol. The Hornets would have ended up with 4 players and a draft pick, a package highlighted by Lamar Odom.
Shout out to Roflo there, Robert Flores, 14 years ago today, Mark. Now, you spoke to CP3. What did he tell you about what's going on with his career right now?
Well, in terms of this trade, before the season started, he told me that he had a great conversation with Kobe Bryant the night before it got voided. And at some point,
This is one of those moves that doesn't explode the headline cycle. It doesn't make NBA Twitter lose its mind, but quietly tells you exactly what the Golden State Warriors are thinking right now. Because when you look past the names and look at the intent, this roster move says a lot more about the Warriors' direction than most people will realize at first glance. Golden State officially moved on from Alex Toohey, waiving the number 52 overall pick and bringing in Malevy Leons on a 2-way deal. And on the surface, some people might see this as just another end-of-roster shuffle, but Warriors fans know better. This organization does not do things randomly. Every decision, even the quiet ones, connects to fit, timeline, and philosophy. And this one fits perfectly into who the Warriors are trying to be right now. Let's start with Alex Toohey, because this part matters. The Warriors believed in him enough to move back in the draft, to target him specifically, to invest a 2-way slot in a young international forward with real upside. Toohey wasn't some throw-in. He was a developmental bet, a smart one. A forward who had shown promise in Australia, won the NBL's Next Generation Award, and looked like someone who could grow into the Warriors system over time. But the reality of the NBA is cruel, especially when injuries enter the picture. Toohey never got a clean runway. The pace of the American game, the physicality, the constant adjustments, and then the knee injury that ultimately requires surgery and ends his season before it even really began. At that point, the decision becomes less emotional and more practical. You cannot carry a 2-way player for an entire season if he cannot physically play. That doesn't mean the door is closed forever. It means the Warriors made a necessary business decision in the present. And here's the important part for Warriors Nation. This wasn't a panic move. This wasn't a reaction. This was an adjustment with purpose. Because instead of holding a roster spot hostage, Golden State pivoted to someone who can help immediately in specific ways. Someone older, someone more physically ready, someone whose game fits exactly what the Warriors have been prioritizing all season long. Enter Malevy Leons. A 6'9" forward, mobile, tough, defensively reliable, with legitimate shot-blocking instincts and a real outside shot. That alone should already get Warriors fans leaning forward. Because if you've been watching this team lately, you know what's been missing in stretches. Size without stiffness, defense without fouling, hustle without chaos, and players who understand how to move within a system rather than demanding the system bend around them. Leons' path is not flashy, but it is telling. Late bloomer. Moves from the Netherlands to the United States. Dominates junior college. Transfers up. wins Defensive Player of the Year in his conference twice, undrafted, earns minutes with Oklahoma City's G League program, develops, improves, learns how to impact the game without needing the ball. That archetype matters in Golden State. Steve Kerr has never chased raw talent over functional basketball intelligence. He values players who understand space, positioning, rotations, and timing. Leons checks those boxes. He defends multiple positions. He blocks shots without chasing them. He rebounds. He runs the floor. He sets screens. And on offense, he knows his role. Spot up, stretch the floor, make the extra pass, crash the glass. That last part might be the most underrated aspect of this signing. Offensive rebounding, second chances, extra possessions. Those are momentum-shifting plays. And when you've watched the Warriors struggle to manufacture offense during cold stretches, you know how valuable that can be. Leons is also shooting nearly 44% from deep this season in the G League. That's not empty shooting. That's real spacing. And spacing is oxygen in the Warriors system. Whether it's Steph Curry warping defenses or the second unit trying to survive non-Steph minutes, shooters who defend and rebound are playable. Always. And let's be honest about age, because people will mention it. Yes, Leons is 26. In NBA prospect terms, that's considered older. But in Warriors terms, that's often exactly the point. Kerr doesn't need every player to be a 5-year project. He needs some guys who can step on the floor and not panic, not freelance, not break structure. Leons is not here to be a star. He's here to be functional depth. And functional depth is winning basketball. This move also subtly reinforces something Warriors fans should feel encouraged by. This team is actively self-scouting. They know where the holes are, they know what hasn't worked, and they are willing to tweak around the margins to improve it. That matters more than one blockbuster move. Nobody's telling you that Malevy Leons is going to swing a playoff series by himself. That's not the point. The point is that Golden State is stacking competence. Defense, size, shooting, effort. And those pieces start to add up when injuries hit, rotations tighten, and games slow down. It's also worth appreciating how this move fits culturally. Leons joins Quinton Post as one of the only Dutch players in the league. Chemistry matters. Comfort matters. And Golden State has always been one of the best organizations at integrating players into an environment where they can breathe, learn, and contribute without being overwhelmed. So when you zoom out, this isn't about waiving Alex Toohey. This is about the Warriors choosing availability, versatility, and fit over potential that cannot be accessed this season. It's a bet on the present without abandoning the future. And that balance is exactly how this franchise has survived and evolved through multiple eras. For Warriors Nation, this is a reminder that championship cultures aren't built by stars. They're built by dozens of decisions like this over time. Quiet, thoughtful, deliberate moves that make the team just a little bit better, a little bit sturdier, a little bit harder to play against. Malevy Leons might not dominate headlines, but don't be surprised if there's a night a few months from now where he checks in, blocks a shot, hits a corner three, grabs a tough rebound, and suddenly you're nodding and saying, yeah, that makes sense. That's Warriors basketball. If you're excited about the direction this team is taking, if you believe these small moves matter, drop your thoughts in the comments, tell me what you expect from Malevy Leons, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed right here to Warriors Nation News, because we break it all down every step of the way.